Man, we got some breaking news. Kaylee Gonsalves owned a Bluetooth speaker. That's the end. I'm thejbgunner. This is crime time. This shit is getting ridiculous. Let's roll it.
Bring it back.
As of late, I've been really hard on News Nation, I'll be honest with you. Because what we're seeing is a moment where we're just not getting a lot of real news. And so people is just kind of making it up. You know what I mean? I'm not, but other people are. I don't know if they just ain't got a girlfriend, they ain't got, anything else to do. But for some reason, they just keep making up shit. And to be perfectly honest, dumb shit. And we'll talk about that a little bit here today, because today we're going to talk about the magical Bluetooth speaker that everybody's fucking talking about. We'll also talk about gag orders. We can talk about gagging, but we ain't got to talk about gag orders. You guys know where I'm at with that one, right? But anyway, we'll talk about gag orders. Guys, before we do, though, I want to say first and foremost, thank you to everybody that supports the channel, regardless of the method you choose. Man, that was juicy as fuck. Anyways, regardless of the method you use, whether it's Cash App, hashtag no homo. Regardless of the method you use, whether it's Cash App, Patreon, Venmo, PayPal, whatever, thank you to the Gun Squad. I couldn't do this each and every day as often as I do without you. You guys are fucking awesome. With all that being said, if you do find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below. Join the Gun Squad today. Support the channel. We all know YouTube demonetizes the majority of my shit. And if you are subscribed to my politics channel or my other live stream channel, you kind of know why, right? Hell, you even know why here. But anyways, so you guys are what makes this thing work. Thank you guys so much for your support. Anyway, so the other channels are down there as well if you want to check them out. But we're going to get right on into this story. I did you a long story earlier, so this one I'm going to try to keep a little bit shorter. It's not that. Let's get to the fucking story. Sources: Idaho victim had Bluetooth speaker in her room. So, what? You dumb motherfuckers. You already told me that Bryan Kohberger turned off his phone during the time when he left Washington and committed the Idaho murders and didn't turn it back on until 5:30, right? You already told me that in the affidavit. So why in the fuck would it matter if Kaylee had a Bluetooth speaker? And why is this just now coming out? Doesn't everybody have I got a Bluetooth speaker in my damn bathroom. That way I can, that way when I'm watching porn in the shower, you get the whole sound, right? But anyway, that's none of your business. JB, you still watching midget porn? Yes. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. You got your kink, I got mine. Who the fuck doesn't have a Bluetooth speaker? Shit, I don't even understand why this is a problem. What they're going to tell you is that his phone could have connected to it. No, dickhead. If his phone was off, or he didn't have his phone, or he didn't bring his phone, or his phone was off, or it was in airplane mode, or whatever in the fuck it was, if it wasn't pinging off the towers, and you clearly, remember that's part of the affidavit, Bryan Kohberger's phone was off. They think that means he killed somebody. So why in the fuck would the Bluetooth speaker matter? Whatever. Let's go to the story. Source: Idaho victim had a Bluetooth speaker in her room. Could a Bluetooth speaker provide an additional key piece of evidence in the Idaho quadruple murders case? A source close to News Nation revealed that Idaho victim Kaylee Gonsalves had a Bluetooth speaker in her bedroom. Even if a phone is in airplane mode, a phone could still potentially connect to a Bluetooth device. How is that even fucking possible? If it cannot connect to Wi-Fi in airplane mode, why would it? Don't you need Wi-Fi for you? Oh no, I guess you probably don't. I don't know. Forensics, I didn't really think about that, but no, I'm being. Something tells me he turned his phone off. Something tells me he didn't even have the phone with him. He probably left it in the car, but hey, whatever. Forensics and cybersecurity expert Clark Walton discussed on Banfield whether a Bluetooth link could prove suspect Bryan Kohberger was there. Let's just go ahead and watch the fucking video. This is ridiculous.
Said I want to get into the nitty gritty. That's Clark Walton's space. He is a principal forensics and cybersecurity expert for Reliance Forensics. He's board certified in data security. He's a former cybersecurity analyst for the CIA. He's also a former prosecuting attorney. Mwah, chef's kiss. You are perfect, Clark, for this. Get me sort of on and off the ledge on this, because I always want to know that there's lots of evidence. If you're going to bring a guy in and charge him with quadruple murder, I want to know that there's lots of really good evidence. This would seem like it would put a guy right in the room alongside the DNA on the knife sheath. But why might it
come
not?
on.
Let's just look at the other side. Why might this
This
not?
is so weird. See, right now, you're doing this video. Also, the same day, News Nation does this video. What does this video say? Theory suggests Idaho suspect planted the knife sheath. They can't make up their mind whether Bryan Kohberger is just an idiot or what. They can't make up their mind at all. But whatever, let's just get back to it.
Not work.
Right. So your phone, as you know, when you're walking around with it, it is trying to talk to the rest of the world any number of ways, right? Bluetooth and your cellular antenna and near field communication. But it doesn't necessarily mean that those attempted handshakes that you just referenced are necessarily being recorded. Not every single action that your phone takes is necessarily going to stick with that phone. If a forensic examiner were to look at it days, weeks, months later, yes, that handshake could have occurred, but is there going to be a record of it on the device that a forensic examiner can pull back?
Okay, so let me take that one step further, and I'm going to just be full disclosure here. I am a complete idiot when it comes to this stuff. I have to hit all the buttons 100 times and then reset just to get something to work. But I do know this, my phone is connected to my Bluetooth speaker, and my phone knows when I go from portrait to landscape, and it keeps that as a record, as I learned in the Murdaugh trial. What if Kaylee's speaker was connected to her phone? Because presumably they're all up on the third floor, right?
Well, of course,
you're going to have your phone
speaker
upstairs when you go to bed, even if you're 50 feet away in the other bedroom. Will that perhaps keep a record?
Why would that matter? If Kaylee's phone connected to the Bluetooth in Kaylee's room, like, why would that record matter? They're like, Ashley Banfield's like, oh, do you think there's a record of Kaylee's phone connecting to Kaylee's Bluetooth speaker? Yes! Yes! Dummy! God damn, I hate these people.
That would keep a record. And so have you ever noticed, you'll spend a night in a hotel and you'll not come back to that hotel for months, and then you'll go back to that hotel and it will automatically connect your phone back to Wi-Fi like you'd been there the day before?
Yes.
Your iPhone does keep a record of what Wi-Fi networks you've connected to.
But you can tell your phone to forget a connection. How do I know? I used to live in hotels. I traveled a lot. And to be perfectly honest, there was plenty of times while trying to fix an issue, I had to tell my phone to forget this particular connection. But yeah, he's right about that.
Certain information about those networks, the name, the password, the last date and time, importantly, potentially for this case, the last date and time that phone was connected to that Wi-Fi network. And the same works for Bluetooth as well. It keeps a listing of Bluetooth assets that you have connected to at a certain point in the past in time. So let's say hypothetically, at some point in the past, Kohberger's phone had initiated or completed a handshake with really any other device in proximity to that house, coming back in close proximity to that house, even if the phone were in airplane mode, as was pointed out, that Bluetooth connection may likely still be enabled, and that handshake could occur. That evidence would stay on the phone, and that's something that a forensic examiner could later take and say, yes, this phone was within Bluetooth communication of.
I'm confused about this. Let me check something. Just what I thought. When you first Bluetooth in airplane mode, when you first turn airplane mode on, it likely will disable your cellular data, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. You should have the option to toggle Wi-Fi and Bluetooth back on, however, and that is what will allow you to use Bluetooth on your phone during like a flight. So it is technically possible, but when you go into airplane mode, it says that it disables all of that and you have to turn it back on. What's the likelihood Bryan Kohberger put his phone on airplane mode and said, yeah, but I still want my Bluetooth to work? I don't know. I guess things are possible. The handshake is possible, the digital, but I don't know, man. To me, I think this is just reaching.
Speaker, this microwave, this thermostat, that type of thing at this point in time.
This is probably a yes or no. But if the speaker is turned off, does it still emit a Bluetooth signal, or is off?
Off is off.
Off is off. Off is off.
Okay.
Bam. Off is off, and that's true. And let me be honest with you. Majority of us, let's be 100% honest. We have Bluetooth. Us to have Bluetooth speakers, you have to charge the speaker, right? Like I have a little USB port, a little mini USB that I have to plug in my Bluetooth to charge it. I would assume that most people keep their their Bluetooth devices turned off. Does that make sense? I want you to think about this for you yourself. Do you have a Bluetooth speaker? Do you have Bluetooth headphones? Do you have any of these objects? Do you keep them on or off? Like, don't you charge your like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, most people, like my bathroom Bluetooth speaker, it's never on, to be perfectly honest. There's many times I don't even turn it on when I take a shower. I just sit the phone on the fucking toilet and take a shower, right? But do you leave your Bluetooth on as you sleep? I'm willing to say most of us do not. Most of us turn it off to preserve the battery life of the Bluetooth device.
How about the car? Let's talk about this 2015 Elantra. Some people have said they don't have the infotainment system. Some people have said they do. So maybe it's kind of, haphazard on the 2015. But if Kohberger gets into his Elantra with his phone, right? Because he's driving. We already know he had his phone with him because well, at least according to the authorities, he is driving out of Pullman or around, Pullman at 2:48, 2:47, I think I said the time was. Look, 2:47 a.m. And then he, hauls back in and is back online. He basically turns the phone back on or does whatever at 4:48 a.m. If he's in that car, is it going to handshake him to the car? Because right now we know an Elantra that belongs to him was at the murder scene, and a defense attorney will say, who was driving? Did you see him behind the wheel? But if his phone...
No, how the fuck do we know that the Elantra he was driving was at the murder scene? No. That's not true.
Connected to his Bluetooth and went to the murder scene. Now that's a whole other kettle of fish.
Yeah, there may very likely be a record of that. I mean, the data that I've seen in the public record is based of where he was is based on the cell tower pinging, the location, which is much less accurate.
Much less accurate. That's right. Them cell phone pings don't mean shit.
Much more, covers a greater area than the Bluetooth communication. Obviously, you have to be much closer to a device to ping off of that with your phone. And there are records of that kept in the device, in the phone. Sorry, I'm looking down at my iPhone here, I guess expecting it to do something. But yes, I mean, we have seen we've worked other types of cases, other types of homicides, cases where car accident cases, a lot of times you'll see a Bluetooth was activated and started playing music or something like that, and then a car accident occurs moments later. I mean, that's a fairly common thing to see.
It fascinates me to think that somebody could think, well, I'm just going to turn my phone off and I'll go dark. But that phone stayed more than likely light if it were connected to the car. And then that car continued on its merry way. So the footprint would continue even though the cell towers lost him. All of this allegations, he has the right to remain innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But man, this evidence.
There is no goddamn evidence.
Stuff. Hey, Clark, thank you for this.
There is no fucking evidence.
You're the right person, and I would.
She's like, man, all this evidence is really building up. What evidence is that, lady? I personally don't get it. Now these motherfuckers are trying to say that Bryan Kohberger planted the knife sheath. And actually, who's that criminal profiler on Grizzly? John Kelly. Man, this is a hell of a theory. I think you guys are fucking insane. Not Grizzly. Grizzly's fine. Well, she's a woman, so she's probably insane, but that's not the point. This is insane to even believe this. He's going to go in there, plant evidence that could risk getting him caught. This is the most ridiculous theory in the whole situation.
A new theory surfaced this week in the case of the Idaho student murders I find incredibly interesting.
No, it's not.
About probably
it's
the
incredibly dumb.
Most important piece of evidence in the case.
that's
a knife
weak.
sheath discovered at the crime scene, which allegedly has suspect Bryan Kohberger's DNA on it. The theory is one I just hadn't even considered.
Of course.
It might have been intentionally left there by Kohberger to throw off investigators. The knife sheath looked like this, both with USMC imprinted on it, along with the U.S. Marine Corps Eagle, Globe, and Anchor insignia. This theory comes from a number of people, but most recently from criminal profiler John Kelly. And it goes like this, that Kohberger left the sheath on purpose, and that the military references were no accident, that they were a ploy to send investigators on a hunt for someone else.
Ah, man, was I just talking? And that shit wasn't recorded, and my volume was muted. Oh, man, I'll be so damn mad. I'll be so damn mad. Oh, man, I gotta check it out now. Now I'm gonna be... Guys, if by some chance you saw a big cut, it's because I was talking with the thing muted. And if that's the case, look, man, I'm just going to say this in regards to John Kelly. This is one of the most insane theories that there is. To believe that this man would purposely leave a knife sheath, leave any evidence on the thing instead of just not, like, to throw people off. How about you just don't leave evidence at all? That throws people off too. It's weird, it's insane to believe that someone with this education, someone this intelligent, which in my opinion Bryan Kohberger was, would purposely say, you know what I'm going to do now that I've killed these people? And I'm going to leave it at the first body. I'm going to lay this knife sheath right here. So they'll think it's the military. Are you out of your fucking mind? But it is what it is. So anyways, that's what I was saying. I may have to cut that part out, so I apologize. And big shout out. I ain't got no problem with John Kelly. I ain't got no problem with any of these people. I'm just calling it like it is, though. It's a dumbass theory to believe that any motherfucker, I get it, there is staging. But man, he was going to get away with it. Like, what would be the point? What would be the purpose of leaving something directly from you, directly attached to the murder weapon that you brought in physically into the house? That makes no sense at all, man. None.
Perhaps someone other than Kohberger. To further this claim, Kelly calls this staging 101, perhaps a ruse learned from Kohberger's doctoral studies in criminal justice. Kelly claims a normal reaction for someone who had just used a knife would be to return it to its sheath. And the DNA found may have just been an oversight. It's a theory also suggested by British criminology professor David Wilson.
That seems to be a remarkably clumsy move. or a remarkably clever move. Because one of the things that's really struck me about the person that's been arrested and accused of this is he is intelligent and high functioning. So would a highly skilled, intelligent student who was teaching criminology, a PhD student, have made such a basic error?
Well, look, the guy was clearly not the brightest criminal. We know that. But
no, we don't, because we have no clue if he even did it. And yes, if all the mistakes that were made are being made, then you're right, 100%. But oddly enough, all of these mistakes that you people try to use to make Kohberger sound like he's a dummy, why is it that you only have one thing? There's nothing else that puts him at the scene of the crime. None of your phone pings put him at the scene of the crime. Because by your own words, you said Kohberger turned his phone off. The only thing you have whatsoever is touch DNA on a knife sheath, which could have been planted. Just saying.
But according to the criminal affidavit, the tan leather knife sheath was discovered laying on the bed next to Madison Mogen's right side. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA left on the button snap. The knife itself is missing. And with Kohberger said to be an obsessive compulsive with other things like food, one imagines cleanliness in general, it's...
No, the man, why do people keep calling him OCD? He just is one of them vegan homos, doesn't eat meat, and so he doesn't want anything, he doesn't want his dishes cooked with something where meat was in. I don't like fish, okay? I don't want any of my food cooked in something that there was once seafood or a smelly fat woman in. Same smell, same odor. Like, I don't understand. Why do people keep saying, well, Bryan Kohberger was OCD? Because one motherfucker said it in regards to his food? Did you see his car? If he was so fucking OCD, that car would have been spotless. But it wasn't. That's all I'm saying.
Likely he hid the knife somewhere else after committing the murders. Someplace where the blood wouldn't contaminate his clothes.
I love it how these people just come up with their own theories.
And through the DNA recovered from trash at his family's home in Pennsylvania. So let's talk this through with Jesse Weber, anchor and host on the Law and Crime Network, who has been closely following the story. Jesse, what do you make of the theory?
I think it makes no sense.
Come
All
on.
due respect, no sense, and I'll explain why. First of all, this K-Bar USMC knife, I can go on Amazon right now, I can go on kbar.com right now, I could buy it. This is not something that is exclusive to the military, and without any other evidence left there pointing to a member of the military, it makes no sense that he would think, or whoever the suspect is, that the police would immediately think military. And top of all this, the biggest point, I'm going to take the risk of leaving a piece of evidence that might have my DNA on it, and we all saw that it possibly does.
Bam!
With the idea of maybe the police are going to look at somebody else.
My man right there nailed it. He nailed it right there. That throws that fucking theory out there. No, it's exactly what I said. You're going to risk your own freedom with hopes that maybe they connected to someone else.
It makes absolutely no sense. And if this really was the motivation,
one
of the dumbest things I've ever thought.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, and we know that he made other, mistakes.
Like what?
But the argument goes
like what?
That he thought he had cleaned the sheath. He thought
No, what are the mistakes? Because the sheath is all I've seen.
he had sort of left a pristine piece of evidence, but he missed the sort of the snap, right? He missed that one spot where his DNA was located.
No, what this seems to me is any case I've covered where someone has left evidence at a crime scene, it's a slip up, it's a mistake. So people might say, oh, he's so intelligent, how did he not plan for this? If we have no indication Bryan Kohberger ever did anything like this before.
Right.
When someone is in the heat of a crime, they're not thinking logically. They could have been in a panic, they could have been afraid. We know that one of the surviving roommates said that the suspect walked right past her. A lot of people have been wondering why. If you are in a state of shock after committing this crime, you can't explain everything.
Now Kohberger's in shock.
And
now Kohberger's in shock for what, for 8 hours?
support your point, which is pretty persuasive. I'm really getting tired of people talking about how smart this guy is.
Why?
Yeah, as if he was like the ultimate criminal mastermind who would never have. I mean, he made so many mistakes.
Name one. All I heard was one. Don't get me wrong. He's not. It doesn't mean he's a genius. But what it's clear that Bryan Kohberger is one. Let me show you. I'm going to show you something real quick, just for a second. I'm just saying, only 3 million as of 2020 in the United States. We have 350 million people, and only 3 million of them have a doctoral degree, have a PhD. And I understand he didn't have one yet, but bro, he was on his way. He was on his way. That's all I'm going to say. So let's not act like Bryan Kohberger is just some dummy, run-of-the-mill dummy. That's all I'm saying. He was clearly not any of that. Let's continue.
So many slip-ups, this idea that, no way he would ever, right? I mean,
They're giving him too much credit. And can we also just address the idea of, well, he's a criminology student, right? So I've taken criminology before. I've spoken to criminologists about this. They don't teach you how to commit the perfect crime. They teach you how to understand why crimes are committed.
Jesse Weber, thank you very much for
Good
coming
to
on the
see
show. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching.
I don't think that he's necessarily a genius. But let's be honest. All of this belief that Bryan Kohberger is just some... This is why I lean the direction I lean when it comes to Kohberger. To believe he's just this dumb. And now I'd even believe he's planting the knife sheath. And come on, man. I struggle with this. Kohberger is smart enough to object to the motion to loosen the gag order. He doesn't want the Gonsalves out there talking his shit. And he's right, because truth of it is, when it comes to Bryan Kohberger, he's not going to get a fair trial anyway. Let me ask you a question. I want to show you guys something. This is the neighbor's ring cam. This is the neighbor's ring cam at 1112 King Road. Police were out there on November 13th. You see the ring cam? Remember when they said that Dylan and everybody went out there, was passing out in the yard, and all the friends were out there? Do we not have footage of that? Look at the address. Just curious, wouldn't this ring cam have footage clearly of them outside, having whatever meeting, doing any of those things? Nobody's ever thinking about that, but these people, you know what they are doing? They're fucking freaking out. This is how fucked up the internet is. These people have created a change.org petition, because they think that's going to work, to remove Ann Taylor. It says ban Ann Taylor from representing Bryan Kohberger due to conflict of interest. 3,308 signatures. I want you to understand how many people from not involved in the case are trying to get involved in the case. A lot of these people are you people that's out there right now. Oh, I'll sign the petition. Why? Why can't Kohberger have a fucking good lawyer? If you truly believe Bryan Kohberger is guilty, then it shouldn't matter what lawyer he has. If you truly believe that these police are telling you the truth, Kohberger's guilty, he deserves the death penalty, you shouldn't be mad at all about how good of a lawyer he has or not. But see, you guys want to stack the deck against Kohberger. You don't, and don't get me wrong, I think a gag order is unconstitutional. But for Bryan Kohberger, he'd be dumb to let these people just be out here doing media rounds and talking. Because it's poison in the well. Remember, there's still got to be juries on this fucking trial. And I already don't think he's going to get a fair trial anyway. I'm curious what you guys think. I don't believe so. Do you? I doubt it. Guys, let me know what your thoughts are on this, the magical Bluetooth, the gag orders. I know this one wasn't as pumped up and exciting as some of my other videos. We're really scraping the bottom of the fucking barrel here. I need one of these trials to start. And I'm not talking about Alex Murdaugh. Fuck him. It's weird. I need that Leilani Simon trial to start, or that Delphi trial to start. That's what the fuck I need. I need something to take me off Idaho. Because we're running out of shit. These people are digging and digging and digging and really finding nothing. Guys, I'm thejbgunner. This is Crime Time. If you like what I do here, feel free to hit the links down below. Support the channel. Show some love. I couldn't do this channel without you guys. Thank you guys so much. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe, do all that good shit. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you guys very much. I'm Jebby.